Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is an invited talk organized by Riphah International University, Pakistan, on the occasion of International Diabetes Day. And the title of the talk is Good Food is Necessary for Preventing Diabetes. الطيبات ضروري للوقاية من مرض السكري. And in Bangla, it will be diabetes প্রতিরোধের জন্য ভালো খাবার জরুরি. And in Urdu, it is diabetes से बचने के लिए अच्छे खाना ज़रूरत है. Everybody knows that diabetes is a metabolic disease which is characterized by high blood sugar due to insulin deficiency or resistance. So, مرض السكري هو مرض التمثيل الغذائي يتميز بارتفاع نسبة السكري في الدم بسبب نقص الانسولين أو مقاومته. And the United Nations symbol for diabetes is this blue circle by which everybody can easily identify talks and things about diabetes. Now, everybody knows, if you look at many research papers, there are many research papers that has described that diabetes is a lifestyle disease basically. It's a metabolic disorder and it's a lifestyle related disease. So, marazu sukari huwa marazu namatil hayati. And one of the big questions facing humanity, because there is soon going to be billions of diabetes patients, we have to know how we can prevent this diabetes from happening. Once it happens, it's very difficult to treat. You have to learn to live with the condition. So it is important to prevent. Prevention is very much important. So kaifiyatul wikayati min maradi sukari is very, very important. I believe this question of how to prevent diabetes, the answer can be found in the Quran. So, al-jawabu fil Qur'an. Okay. For instance, if you look at this ayat in the Quran, in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat number 168, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Ya ayyuhan nasu kulu mimma fil ardi halalan tayyiban. So he's addressing the whole humanity here. Notice, Ya ayyuhan nas, the humanity. He's asking humanity, Kulu, you eat, you all eat, mimma fil ardi, from what is in your earth, halalan tayyiban, halal and tayyib food. So it's not just halal. It is with this tayyib word that the halal is used. Everywhere. I will show you soon that almost in every occasion, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word halal along with the word tayyib. So it's not just halal food that you should take. You should take good halal food. Among the food, there can be good and not so good halal food. All right. If you search the Quran with this root word, twa ya ba, root word search. For instance, I have searched here tanzil.net. If you do it, you will see there are 50 results in 46 ayat. And these ayats, I'm just listing some of them in the next few slides. You can see Ya ayyuhan nasu kulu mimma fil ardi halalan tayyiban. This one I have already introduced. Then Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu. So in the first ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressed whole of humanity. Ya ayyuhan nas. But here he is addressing the Muslims. Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu. Those of you who has believed. Kulu. This is in the plural command tense. Plural ones. Kulu. You eat all. Min tayyibati. From the good food. So here he is not even mentioning the word halal. Notice this, because yes, Muslim will take the halal food. He knows this very well. So he is emphasizing on the word tayyibat because many Muslims do not take the good food for various reasons, as I will tell you shortly. This was the first ayat. Then the second ayat also in Surah Baqarah, ayat number 172. Then you see what is halal? This question, if you ask, interestingly, the answer is the tayyibat, or the good food is halal. This is a very interesting answer that Allah has given in Quran 5:4, Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayat number 4. It says, Yasalunaka madha uhilla lahum, kul uhilla lakum tayyibatu. They ask you, Yasalunaka, they ask you, maza, what is uhilla lakum, what is halal for them? Kul, say, uhilla lakum tayyibatu. Say that halal food is the tayyib food. So all tayyib food is halal. On the other hand, there can be some food which is halal, but not طيبات, which I will show you shortly. All right, so this is very important to take the طيبات food, food, rather than simply halal food. Okay. So another ayat, take a look at this. وَكُلُوا مِمَّا رَزَقَكُمُ اللَّهُ حَلَالًا طَيِّبًا. See, so the tayyib, this word is used for good food, and in either in single or whenever the halal word appears, it is always associated with tayyib. So see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling Muslims and the whole of humanity to take good halal food, not just halal food. So kulu mimma razaqakumullahu halalan tayyiban wattaqullaha allazi antum bihi mu'minun. Then this is in Surah Al-Ma'idah 88 number ayat. Then fakulu mimma ganimtum halalan tayyiban. So whatever you gain from war booty, you eat the good halal food. Fakulu mimma razaq. Then next is fakulu mimma razaqakumullahu halalan tayyiban. See, always, without exception, the halal word is used in conjunction with the tayyib meaning. And sometimes just tayyib comes there. Kulu min tayyibati ma razaqnakum wa la tadgaw fihi wa fayuhallu alaykum ghadabi wa may yahlil alayhi ghadabi faqad hawa. So he is preferentially telling, he is telling that Muslims should preferentially eat the tayyib food, and not just Muslim, the whole humanity. And in this last one that I'm showing you here, Quran 23:51 is saying, Ya yuha rasulu. He is addressing now the Rasuls. Kulu minat tayyibati. So it's very important, even for the Rasul to eat the tayyib food, not just halal. Remember this, huh? So therefore the Quran is placing overwhelming importance on taking good food instead of just halal food. Huh? So we can think of this food pyramid in terms of halal, haram, and other classification that I have made recently, this new classification of the food pyramid, where of course halal is shown by this green color, and then the haram is shown by the red color, which is on the bottom, and halal is upward, meaning that this is like better food than haram food, right? And then on top of the pyramid is the tayyib food, shown by the blue color. The blue means elite or something very good for you, tayyib food. So of course this tayyib food is halal, but it is above and beyond the halal food, the tayyib food. For instance, olive oil, zaitun, baiz, egg, asal, honey, fakiha means fruit, samak, fish, tamrun, dates, and khazrat means vegetable, and zabadi means yogurt. This kind of food is extremely good food. Then what I have found, this word in the Quran, adna. Adna, this word means inferior quality food. In some passages in the Quran, there is mentioned of this adna food, which is halal. This food is halal, so it's shown by green color. But I put yellow color for this adna food because they are inferior quality halal food. And in this category would be, fast food, al wajabatir sariyatu, then soft drinks, mashrubatul ghazaya, and sukkar, sugar, then al arzul maskul, the polished rice or the white rice, and then khabzul abyad means the white bread, and baklun, legume, adas, lentils, and basal, onion, right? I will explain to you why I think this is inferior quality food. Now, everybody knows what is halal, haram. I don't have to tell, and I'm not a mufti to decide, which one is halal or haram. But if you follow what I've been telling you, that the definition given for halal food in the Quran, yasalunaka maza uhilla lakum kul uhilla lakum at-tayyibatu. See, all good food is halal. So you don't have to worry what is halal or haram. So this is the definition given by our creator. So easy to follow this one. Any good food that you see is halal. That's a very interesting and extremely intelligent definition of halal food. Now, you look at this, one of the characteristic of this halal food is they are low glycemic index and they have a low glycemic load as well, low or medium glycemic load. All right, this one is from my research work. I will show you some more research work as we progress. You see, for instance, olive oil, zaitun or bais or samak fish, these have zero because this is protein or fat, so they have no glucose in them, and so they do not raise your blood sugar at all. Juafatu, not the deep throat, juafatu, the guava, is very interestingly has a very low glycemic index. So you'll notice in general, fruits which are not very sweet has lower glycemic index and glycemic load, right? Yogurt, then among the vegetables, cucumber, tomato, lettuce, spinach, excellent, excellent kind of vegetables, and spinach is also excellent. See, all falls on a very low glycemic index. So this food will never raise your blood sugar. It cannot raise your blood sugar because the glycemic load is also very low, right? So you're like, feel free, you can feel free to eat them, except olive oil, obviously you should use sparingly because there will be very high calorie also, right? Olive oil, egg or fish. Tofu, tofu is a Japanese food which is bean curds made with some special salt called nigari salt, which has a very high level of magnesium and is considered very healthy. Then bitter gourd, this one I'll show you, is called Kerala in my native language. This is a treatment for diabetes. I will show you some proof from our scientific studies. Then bamia, which is okra, and cherry. These are all very low glycemic. So this is an example of extremely good toyo food. Then next category, I'm showing you some foods such as barley, which is a glycemic index of 28, or say apple, 36, and then pear, or say among the rice, only the parboiled rice is good, which has a glycemic index of 38. But the other rice, say the white rice and the white bread, these are horrible. They have a 70 to 90 glycemic index, very high. So if you want to consume rice, for a diabetic patient or people who are pre-diabetes, they should take the parboiled rice. And now plum, orange, blueberry, dates, figs, honey, all of them has medium kind of glycemic index. You see, they fall in the 40s and 50s, right? So you consume them, you can consume them, but you should consume. You see the glycemic load sometimes goes like medium, right? This means they have the potential to increase your blood sugar. So you take them in moderate amounts. Whereas the last ones, the really low glycemic index food, you can take as much as you like. It don't really increase your blood sugar level. Now compared to this food, the adna food or the inferior quality food, let's take a look at them now. The adna food, these are, see, green means they are halal, but they are inferior quality as assuming. And again, you notice the opposite character in here, which is to say that they have very high glycemic index. Of course, the highest glycemic index is with glucose, which shows 100, very high glycemic index, and glycemic load obviously very high, because this is how the glycemic index is measured in terms of glucose. Now the table sugar, the sugar is sucrose, and it has a moderate glycemic index, interestingly 65, right? But the glycemic load is quite high, and the amount people consume is too much. For instance, say many of the soft drinks has in a typical sweet soft drinks has 11 tablespoonful of sugar, equivalent to so it can increases. Some of these cold drinks use fructose, which has a very low glycemic index of 15, glycemic low. You think that fructose is be good. No, you're wrong, because then fructose will not increase the blood glucose level, but fructose will increase the blood fructose level, which can be also harmful. Any sugar at high level in the body, say galactose. Galactose is even more horrible. And galactose, there are many research papers that have shown really negative effect on the body, even more than glucose by the galactose. Right. So you see the polished rice, al-aruzul maskul, is bad. Right, is bad because the outer hull is removed in this polished rice. If the rice is not polished, then the glycemic index comes down, which is slightly better. But in general, rice bread is not very good. You see, this was not the preferred food of our Prophet, who used to eat, say, barley, which has one of the very low glycemic index, and then he went with other things, such as dates and other food, which has low glycemic index food. This sugar, polished rice and white bread, along with lentils and legumes, this constitute a huge portion. I would say billions of people are taking them every day. And then if you take them for a prolonged period of time, then you'll be very much prone to diabetes. This has been shown by many research papers. And this is why diabetes is called a lifestyle disease, you see. And then many of this food is because of the high glycemic index, about the 50% when this glucose goes into the body, it increases your blood sugar, and then of this glucose, it very quickly is transported into fat cells, and then you get fat and more fat, along with this high calorie food. Now, some of this food, you see the soft drinks, the glycemic index is low, or say fast food, glycemic is low, but the glycemic load is very high. That means people in the soft drinks, as I said, they're using sugar, but at a very high amount of sugar they're using. That's why the glycemic load is quite high. Now, some of the food, as mentioned in the Quran, by the way, this is mentioned in the Quran, that baklun, adas, and some other food are lower quality, or adna. This is mentioned in relation to Musa alayhi salam. He was saying to the Bani Israel that, why you want to take adna food or lower quality food instead of manna and salwa that is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. Now, why? See, this legume and lentils, legumes such as say chickpeas, is very low glycemic index, 30 to 40, quite low compared to, of course, these ones. But the problem with this is not, and the glycemic load is also low. See, problem is not there because this food contains some other chemicals, especially phytate and others, which hamper in the absorption of many important nutrients, such as say iron and many other things. They hamper, and one of these things you will notice, if you eat too much lentil or too much chickpeas, then you will have gas formed in your intestine. Typically, you will have gas, and in fact, if you eat too much of rice or bread, you will see the same thing with soft drinks or fast food. Similar, you will have gas formation. The reason is the intestine is trying to convert them and make this food okay for your body, but your body is unable to handle, and then with passage of time you have the chances of developing diabetes. So some of the spices, say the black seed, the well-known black seed, al-habatus sauda, this one is a subject of intense research, and it is used by so many people all over the world. Its scientific name is Nigella sativa, and many of the chemical components which is very good for health is already known: thymoquinone, thymol, carvacrol, and p-cymine. These compounds, as are shown here, these are extremely good for the body. They are antioxidant and has many other effects. This is mentioned in many of the hadiths that this is a treatment for many of the disease. In fact, many of these spices, this is part of the spicy, is very good. As I've mentioned you already that our Prophet used to do trade of these spices, and the spices are one reason why, despite taking all this bad food, people are not getting, like 100% of the population are not getting diabetes, because they are still taking some of these good things from the black seed and other spices. So there are some food which is like a treatment for diabetes. In the food there are compounds present, for example in the bitter gourd, which is scientific name is Momordica chorontia. This thing is actually a fruit, and it's bitter, but it has many compounds that can treat diabetes. And then cinnamon has cinnamon aldehyde, as I'll show you. Kirfa, this one is also anti-diabetic compound is there. And hulba, fenugreek, and bamia, all of these have compound present in them which actively prevents diabetes. I have many publications related to diabetes with many other people that we have done, especially Dr. Hafizur Rahman, while I was foreign faculty professor in University of Karachi. And these papers are all available from researchgate.net. And you can just visit my papers. I give the link here. So this is about Clerodendron volubile. It's a plant from Africa. Then Momodia chorontia, you have already seen. This is locally known as Kerala. And there is a compound called charantin. This compound has been shown. And then there is another compound called momordin. These compounds are anti-diabetic. And we have published papers related to this. And then we have a paper on cinnamic acid. Cinnamic acid exerts anti-diabetic activity by improving glucose tolerance in vivo and by stimulating insulin secretion in vitro. And the active compounds is cinnamic acid and cinnamon aldehyde. But you have to see the idea of these spices. So the cinnamon, you have to take it in low quantities. Because, you know, especially the aldehyde and the cinnamic acid, both of them can be toxic if you take in too much quantity. So do not overdo with the spices as is used, you know, in a diet. You just sprinkle them or use sparingly, right? Then you'll get the good effect of the spices. Georgia elata is another plant which showed anti-diabetic activity. And then asparagus, you know, the common asparagus showed the anti-diabetic activity, but interestingly, not the vegetable, but the berry and the seed. And then the compound is still unknown, is still under investigation, which is the compound that is present in this berry and seeds. This fruit called amla, okay, is Indian gooseberry. This fruit is extremely good. And it has a compound called the ellagic acid, which we have shown to have very good, excellent anti-diabetic activity. And this fruit is extremely good. This is very sour fruit because of extremely high concentration of vitamin C. Yeah, I guess in the Indian subcontinent also Allah has given this fruit as a kind of protection. If people take it, many people take it actually. You can take it as a dried form as well. And then you will get the benefits of both the vitamin C and this ellagic acid, right? Which is one of the active compound in this fruit. So interestingly, if you've been following my YouTube channel, I put the link down of my YouTube channel. What I have found is that in this Arabic language, which I call the language of our Creator, it's the divine language. That is my claim. You feel free to visit my YouTube channel and see all the other videos. One of the things I've shown is if you write out this word diabetes in Arabic, diabetes, then you can understand that this is like an abbreviation for what the disease is. For instance, da means down, means disease, and adid means numerous, baulun means urine. So see, it's saying it's a disease where there is numerous urine, and toa is for toil sukkar. Sin is for sukkar, means sugar, so high sugar. So see, this is in here. So see, toilun sukkar, of course, dal is there, dam means in the blood. So see, yeah, diabetes is actually in Arabic, it should be written as diabetes, and with this meaning, that it is a disease where there is polyuria, or the urination increases due to high blood sugar. See, makes sense, right? So I would like to thank Dr. Muhammad Wasim, who is associate professor right now in Department of Medical Lab Technology in Riphah International University, and I would like to thank the organizers of this talk of the Riphah International University. So thank you all. Inshallah, I'll be coming with you with more videos in the future. Until then, Allah Hafiz.